We're going to talk about food, fear, and nutrition dogma, and just some really important issues in the world of IBS and SIBO particularly.
Food fears and some of the diet dogma that's out there in the IBS space is a huge obstacle that I deal with all the time with my clients, and it really can prevent moving forward in your gut healing.
I think it's okay to enjoy your food, and that's part of the experience of food, and the mental anguish and the anxiety and the fear that goes with that is just not good for your gut-brain axis and your vagus nerve, and you kind of need those things to keep your gut going.
Dietetic school, the main template that's used for IBS is the popular low Fodmap diet. That's mainly what we were trained on. And I say trained, it was probably like a day that we learned about low Fodmap. But low Fodmap...
So not every nutritionist or dietitian is adequately equipped to help you with that, first and foremost. But continue.
Exactly. I mean, with low Fodmap, that's definitely something that we were trained to use as a short-term tool to help people with IBS figure out what their triggers were. So really, Fodmap was really meant to be a short-term elimination of every Fodmap food and then a slow introduction of those foods back into your diet. So that's really what low Fodmap was meant to do. What I typically see people doing now are a little bit of misusing and abusing low Fodmap to where they're staying on it for life. Sometimes they're advised to stay on it for life. Being on low Fodmap can create a lot of issues long term.
Low Fodmap, because I think, I've always been concerned with what it will do to the microbiome and to your level of inflammation as a whole. If you start disrupting the microbiome, those two are consistently lower on low Fodmap.
Yeah, for sure.
Every single study. And it's like, you start wiping out some of these good bacteria or taking them down a notch at least. Well, now you don't have short chain fatty acids, you don't have enough butyrate, and that's going to net you more inflammation, and then your motility is not going to work, and your digestive juices and everything kind of goes to shit.
Yeah.
So I've been worried about that, but that's what I see more commonly. I see a lot of people who are doing low Fodmap, not quite as much the combo in this day and age, but I also get a lot of people who are doing low histamine.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's appropriate and sometimes it's not. I work an awful lot with mast cell disease and allergenic presentation, so I'm very familiar with that also. But it's like you start combining, you're like, well, I'm doing AIP and low histamine and low Fodmap, and you literally have two foods that you can eat.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of those people, and I think that one of the things is that people often believe, and practitioners too, will believe that it's the elimination, it's the subtractions that are intrinsically healing. The restrictions aren't healing you.
Yeah.
You can't starve your way to good health. You need to add something or do something on top of that.
What you're talking about, I sort of like to refer to it as diet stacking. The effects it's going to have on the microbiome and on your health and maybe on nutrient deficiency risk. Just the stress of having to maintain such a limited food list is really counterproductive to healing. The emotional side of it, quality of life is awful.